my name's Caitlin. I am here at Bansko Nomad Fest. We are on day
4.
I think we're on day
yeah.
4. I think it's Wednesday.
It's hard to keep track.
I'm losing my voice. We had a bonfire last night that I went to. I believe you went as well.
I did.
We had a lot of fun. Anyway, I am here with John Baumgartner. He is the creator of HipTraveler. So he's going to tell us a little bit about what that is and how it can benefit nomads and travelers and content creators alike. If you want to give a little intro about your business and even how you came up with it. And
that's a great place to start, actually. I think it's probably the most important part, and that's really where the fit is for nomads. Myself as a traveler, I love to travel, love to see the world. I was researching and just kind of looking at inspiration for travel, and I read a travel blog that was about the Perhentian Islands off of Malaysia, and they're gorgeous, like really, really pretty. It's like a Robinson Crusoe thing with turquoise water, white sand, just picture paradise. And the author had done a really good job of describing it, right? Excellent writer. He did a really good job. He was a good photographer, so he took really good pictures that were super inspirational. But the author hadn't given me any of the tactical details on like how to get there, what ferry to take, where he stayed, that meal that he loved so much, what restaurant was that, you know? Yeah. So I remember as a traveler, and this is 10 years ago, thinking, why aren't travel stories bookable? You know, why can't I read something, get inspired, and then save the itinerary of that author so that I can use it in the future and I can book my own trip. I did go to those islands, by the way, within 6 months, but it was using spreadsheets and bookmarking things
on your own itinerary.
on my own, right? So the original idea behind HipTraveler was make travel stories bookable. And there's a natural kind of fit for content creators with that, right? Or even destinations that want to market themselves and they want to be able to measure the effectiveness of their campaigns. So when a destination does an influencer campaign or a content creator campaign, they're spending a lot of money to do that. And ideally they get real numbers that are visitors. You know, how many people actually like read our content, saw this on social media, and then actually decided to come and visit our destination. Same with the content creators. So we've got very lucky people around the world that get to travel all the time and experience all these great places around the world. When they do that and they use HipTraveler's application, now their itinerary becomes useful forever. And every time that's booked, the content creator earns commission. Great. So it's a revenue source for the content creators as well. And then I like to think it's super helpful for the traveler. You know, I mean, that was the original reason why I did it. I wasn't thinking through all the marketing aspects of it and, you know, whether or not content creators would like it. It was just, this would make my life easier. You know, so I'm not doing my spreadsheets and bookmarking and all the stuff I did.
That's why I just wing it, because I don't have time for that. I have a event planning background, but when it comes to planning for myself, I don't want to do it because I'm doing it for everyone else, so it's tiring.
Sometimes those are the best, where it's just serendipity, right? And you just end up finding amazing things, you know? So, I mean, our application can be used that way too. There's a little bit of irony there too, because I, as a traveler, I do not plan to the very minute everything that I'm going to do. But I use our itineraries as kind of inspiration on the trip, where you can look at it as kind of a menu. You know? So I've got these 7 ideas for the day. And then if I wanted to sleep in a little bit more and miss one, there's no stress, right? But at least you have it all there. It's organized. You know where everything's geolocated. You can read reviews. You can do all of that too. So it makes it simple.
That's incredible. I love that. So going back to like the benefits real quick for like the tourism boards and things, I think that's really important to talk about because I think so many content creators are going places and they're going on fam tours and things, but it really is hard to track that ROI or to get those destinations to understand how valuable content creators actually are, especially when they're not necessarily huge content creators or...
The way that, you know, I would say the younger generations, like Gen Z or what have you, but now it's pretty much everybody. You know, all the way through old Gen Xers like myself, where you're getting inspiration from social media or from trusted bloggers or people that you follow. They say that the bloggers are actually like second most influential behind your friends and family, right? So it's kind of the next layer is like, who's this blogger that I sort of trust and know, and I know that they're going to be authentic with me. And you'll kind of follow their lead, you know, their tips, if they're your style, right? We've done campaigns where we undercharge, to be totally honest, some destinations, and had posts go completely viral. One in particular was 30 million views, 2.5 million comments, drove massive tourism to this destination. Like it literally moved the needle probably 30% the next month in the destination, right? So that kind of marketing or advertising or content can be extremely effective, much more so I would say than a glossy magazine
That people maybe
picture
look
that-
at once
Yeah.
and then never look at it again.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
or whenever I planned to go on a trip, my mom used to buy me just like guidebooks,
Yeah.
which was really nice as like a memory, but I never can say I actually opened one to find real information.
They're like book weights or
Yeah, I
like-
go to my blogs, I go to
Yeah.
my, like social media, my Instagram,
Yeah.
travel bloggers that I like to follow. Okay, so walk me through the platform a little bit. Like how does it work as the person uploading it, as the content creator, and then kind of the person, like the traveler looking to use those itineraries?
For the traveler, it's just like any other travel planning site that you visit the site, you search for maybe a destination you're interested in. You can also create an automatic itinerary there. So you can enter in your travel style, the type of activities you're interested in, the number of days you want to travel for. Maybe you haven't picked a destination around the world, so you want the system to tell you, like, if you really want to do this adventurous surfing trip or what have you, here's 4 places that would be ideal, during this season even, right? So we're getting really super granular now, where there's some new features coming in September that'll actually be like a travel concierge for everyone that comes into the site. So it'll know your travel style if you've given that. And we also have human interaction with it too, where we have travel agents that if you actually want to kind of hit the easy button and you've built the itinerary and you want a real life human, which today is becoming like way out of vogue, I guess, with AI and everything that's happening.
Yeah,
and we have AI in our system, but I personally, I think there's going to be a little bit of a revolt in a way against
I believe so
technology.
too,
It's so much better sometimes when you have a human that interacts with you, obviously, for obvious reasons, right? And travel is fraught with so many challenges sometimes, and having an expert, travel agent, or even the travel blogger that's just a well-traveled person who really knows the hacks of a destination and sort of the tricks, it saves the traveler time and it just makes their life better, So that's what you'll find on HipTraveler is us doing everything in our power to like make travel completely seamless for users, so that you're just going in there, easily planning your trip, and then it's flawless, right? And that'll be part AI, part our content creators who are experts, and part our travel experts that are destination specialists or travel agents. So it'll do all of that for the consumer. For the content creator, we are doing 4 campaigns around the world. They're called colectivos, and they're paid campaigns. Our first sort of trial run is here right now after the show.
All right.
And there'll be winners from the actual event. I'm not sure if you were aware of this or not.
No, I was not aware of that.
People applied.
Okay.
And we've selected 2.
Oh, great.
And they will stay in Bansko next week, and they have the most amazing itinerary that they're going to do, just absolutely incredible. And they'll be using the application, and they're going to test it out. It's giving me kind of a trial run on the collectivo concept.
Okay.
So the plan is to do these collectivos once a quarter, basically. And we're looking at incredible destinations. We're considering Japan, we're considering Ireland, Thailand, Bali, Yucatan. And these are all paid campaigns. And they're going to have amazing itineraries for each one of them. We modeled it after some friends of mine that did a concept called Blogville. And Blogville was done in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy.
Okay.
And what it was is they basically rented an apartment and they made it available to content creators to come and stay. And the content creators got to do sort of their own itineraries. They got to choose from a set of things they could do, but they got to be independent on the trip. And that campaign was one of the most successful campaigns ever in destination marketing. Emilia-Romagna ran that campaign for 5 years because it was so successful. They produced 1,700 blog articles from those 5 campaigns, 5,000 videos. We kind of are redoing that. We dusted the concept off.
Okay, refreshed
and that
it a
is
little.
collectivo.
Yeah.
Right? So these collectivos will be between a week and a month in those awesome destinations. The content creators are going to get to do what they do best, and that's get creative. putting them into a box and saying you have to do this, 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 that may not be their travel style. They're not going to feel as comfortable doing that. They're not going to create as authentic of content. So this concept will allow them to be creative, authentic content, and they'll be very successful in doing it.
I love that. Keeping it genuine, I think, is a big thing too. A lot of the times, there's content creation it's that cookie cutter stuff, and you're like, is this really your favorite restaurant to stay at, or are you just getting, paid to say that? And I think you mentioned in your talk, you're hopping around from place to place all day and doing your little spiels, and that's it. So I love that concept. I am going to be in Bansko right after this, so can I join you?
You should. I think that's a great idea, actually.
Cool. Let's get into a little bit about, we had some questions about this, the type of content creators that can use this app. If you're not a blogger, like maybe you're strictly just posting reels and YouTube videos that doesn't have the long form content to turn into itineraries. I'm curious about how that works. And I only have 800 followers. I just hit 800. So, can I still use your app? I'm on my way to 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, like, from all the campaigns that we've done, I think our most viral post, the one I mentioned earlier, the example, was a micro influencer, a smaller content creator. They have typically a more engaged audience, so the smaller you are, sometimes the better it is. Your 800 followers probably hang on every word you say. No, maybe not that.
I hope
but
so.
They might, right?
I mean, my mom definitely
your
does.
mom does. That's good. Your mom follows your lead. Nice. So I think it's an opportunity for the small creator. It's an opportunity for the big creators as well that produce really good content. We are not after just likes and overall reach. I think especially with like tourism boards that only focus on that, or brands that only focus on that, are really missing the boat. What needs to happen to really get people engaged and get them to understand your product or your destination is to have that authentic content that they're engaging with. So we want a really high engagement rate, and you with your 800 followers and your mom in there rooting you on, like, I'm sure there'll be a lot of engagement there, right?
That's true. That's very true. If you're not necessarily a blog creator, though, you still can use the platform, and like any kind of content creator can really benefit from this. There's not like a limit,
so.
or
I guess this is kind of in the spirit of Nomad Fest, where the unconferences and things are just kind of happening, and we're seeing opportunities that I didn't really even see before the event. I think there's an opportunity for somebody that's a nomad that has never produced content, right? Yes, they're starting from scratch there, right? But like I said, I've seen these like small content creators really generate a lot of income with those. So I think it's an opportunity for all nomads that want to document their travels. The lifestyle of this group that's here is so interesting, and the world wants to hear about it. They even if they're not the best writer or even the best photographer or the best videographer, that sort of content has actually become more and more popular too, right? Less polished, more authentic. And the group that's here, the people I've met are some of the most incredible entrepreneurs. I mean, they're so motivated, they're so intelligent, they're making their way in the world in a very difficult way. Travel is already challenging on its own, and then to try to do it, around the world and make money while you do it is a very challenging thing to do. So maybe HipTraveler can be another way, or at least another revenue stream for them that they can try out. They probably want to document their travels anyways, I would think. If you're living this life of a nomad, even if you're just saving that content for yourself, or to share with mom, it gives you a platform to be able to do that and present it in a really beautiful way. And they'd be able to share that with friends, family, and or others that want to follow in their footsteps. And then HipTraveler will pay them every time it's booked. Right?
So I am well on my way, I guess, to becoming a content creator on HipTraveler.
You're nearly famous.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing this interview just so I can, benefit myself.
Okay.
No. Okay, so then talking about revenue streams, I know that's really important for nomads, especially passive income. So doing something like this. And one thing that you mentioned, which was really interesting, was that you want more money to go to the content creator than in, towards HipTraveler, essentially like the split. So I think that's really important. I know there are some similar platforms where you can upload content to some extent and get paid for it when people book things. In my mind, I think probably one of the biggest benefits is that, you know, your percentage is a bit higher on HipTraveler. If you want to talk more about why you chose to do that, and also what differentiating factors about HipTraveler compared to maybe some of the other ones.
This is significantly different. You know, we have an automatic trip planner, okay, that will build a dynamic itinerary, and it makes that entire itinerary bookable. So first of all, that is unique, okay? In the past, you chose tour A, tour B, tour C, tour D. You didn't dynamically create this itinerary and then have that thing be fully bookable, right? So in September, we come online with our own booking engine. So in that one sort of itinerary, you can do a one-click transaction, and you've bought the whole itinerary, right?
Oh, you can buy the entire itinerary too.
Yeah.
All right.
And the difference there is the booking engine part, right? So your big booking engines that are out there, I kind of like to say we're like the world's smallest booking engine.
Okay.
We're a team of 7, but we have the ability to buy the inventory at wholesale. And that's the huge difference there, right? So we can buy the hotel inventory, the car rentals, everything is bought at wholesale, and it leaves a lot of margin to share. So we could either, as a business decide, okay, we want to have all of this margin and we want to grow our business. We want to take on Expedia someday, right? And I don't have that pipe dream. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. Quite happy with our niche.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is I don't need to support 10,000 employees either, and don't plan on ever going there. So this margin that's there could be 100% used for the business, but I think that would actually slow our progress. It's better for me to actually share that margin with content creators that are also promoting us. So it's sort of this virtuous cycle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's not 100% altruistic, okay? But I think it benefits everyone though, because as you speak to the content creators, there's some of the most capable, creative people I've ever met, and they deserve to be paid well, and many times people are trying to get them for free, and I don't know how they do it. They have to have very thick skin because people are constantly approaching them with, will you do this for a free hotel room stay or something? And they're professionals. They don't do that. They're photojournalists, or they're exceptional writers, or they're extremely talented at travel hacks and how to get around the world. They deserve to get paid. So with our program, they're going to get paid. They're going to get paid as if they were their own OTA. So we're looking at giving them 75% of the margin. So it should equate to at least double, I would say, what they earn with an affiliate program today. And most have these affiliate programs, but we're turning over all the margin back to them, basically. And that's part of our goal, is to make them happy, and part of what we're doing at this show too is just asking content creators, like, what do you want? What would make your life better? And we want to include as much of that as we can, make it easy for them to work with us. And then hopefully they'll want to talk about us on their social channels, help promote us, help us grow. We release our app in September, September 1. So we're leading up to that. And the more people that we can get talking about HipTraveler, the better.
Well, this was fantastic talking to you. I think I took up way more time than I intended, selfishly. So I will let you get back to enjoying the Nomad Fest. I know we have our own conferences coming up, which is really cool. I need to go attend some of those myself, I think. Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Thank
and
you
thanks
for
for being at Nomad
Appreciate it.
Fest. And yeah, appreciate having you.